Okay, so in this video we'll be looking at some of the DOM methods, or the document object model methods, that come along with JavaScript. Now, document object model in brief is nothing but your HTML structure. Alright, if you wish to manipulate that, you'll be using some JavaScript methods. If you wish to pick a value from the input, then you'll be using your JavaScript methods. If you wish to do something like change the values within the document object model or within the HTML, then you'll be using some JavaScript methods. So we'll go through some of them here, the basics. So let me just start with the HTML boilerplate here, and let's just define 4 elements. All right, simple ones. Input. Let's just give this an ID of input 1. Let's just define some headings here. Welcome in h1, h2, welcome in h2, and finally in h3, welcome in h3. Alright, so that's all for these headings. We can just add more, but I won't do that. So if you wish to I wish to add some classes for these class names. Alright, so we can do that by class equals, let me just name this as headings. Alright, so pretty straightforward. Nothing much too complex here. So we have one input, 3 headings. They have class names of headings, and the input has an ID of text. Input 1. So this is pretty much it for the HTML. We just have to link the script here, and script.js. That's it. Yeah, let's come here. Let me just make a variable here, input variable. Now, if you wish to access this particular element here and you wish to manipulate it, or just get this whole line with the help of JavaScript, then you'll be doing something like document dot get element by ID. As you can see, VS Code actually auto suggests me and completes my sentence, or my code in this case. So what this particular function does is it tries to get the element by ID, like the name says. So here we want input 1, so we'll be describing input 1 here. Straightforward. So get me an element whose ID is input 1, and we will wish to console.log that. Okay, log, let me just console.log that input variable and see what we get. Let me just run a demo HTML on live server, and yeah, as you can see here we get the whole input tag here. Alright, so that's pretty much it for get element by ID. It just chooses the element based on the name you have given and returns that to you. Now, say I wish to get the value that I type in input 1. So let me just type value and see what we get. You get nothing, because as soon as the page loads, this script is triggered, and we initially don't have anything in the values section. So let's just add this, give this a value equals let me just give it as ABCD, and now we should get our input. Now we should get our input, that is ABCD. Alright, now if we wish to change anything, we don't get the get it printed here because we're not dynamically printing it, or we're not dynamically manipulating it, so we're not just looping it through or setting an interval for it. We can do that, however. We can just set a timeout now. I'll do just that, setting the timeout, and set timeout. Let me just name this timeout as 5 seconds or 5000 milliseconds, and let me just move this here. Right, pretty simple. So print me this value, print me the value of this input 1 after 5 seconds. Pretty cool, right? Let's just run this and see what we get. Okay, let's just change this and see what we get. Cool, we get and the gibberish that we have typed, we got it here, so it's working. Yeah, so that's just to demonstrate how the value method works for this particular get element by ID. So yeah, so note that value will only work for HTML elements that have the value attribute. It won't work for anything else. Now there's one more piece of method that I wish to share in this video, that is called as get elements by class name, and that's exactly the reason we have defined 3 headings here with the same name of headings, class name of headings. So let me just define heading variable, and let me just define the method here. So like the get element by ID, the name suggests that you're getting an element by ID. You get the elements by class name. So in this case, you get elements by class name, and they'll be given to you in the form of an array. All right, as you have seen earlier, we got the whole tag with the help of get element by ID. That's only for one ID, because as you know, HTML only identifies one ID per HTML document. So that's why you get only one element. And in this case, if you wish to get multiple elements, then you can use the class name tag or the class name method, get elements by class name, and it will try to trigger this method for all the similar class names and return an array of all the matching class names. So let's just see this in action. We are targeting the class headings, and we just want that headings. Let's just print this and see what we get. All right, pretty simple. Oops, okay. Yeah, let's just run this and see what we get. As you can see, we get collection of 3 headings here as an array. And yeah, if you wish to target a particular element, you would have guessed it right. We use the square brackets and give it an index, and let's see what we get for this case. As you can see, we get the first element here. 0 pertains to the first index, so welcome in h1 is the first element here in this DOM. So that's what we get. Now we don't want this whole tag. All right, we don't want this whole h1 tag. We just want this particular value here, welcome in h1. So how do we do that? Inner HTML dot inner HTML is the method that is used to get the inner value of the HTML. So we have this specified, right? That's the inner HTML, and that's what we are returning here. Let's just save this and see what we get. Welcome in h1. Now you can change this value as you wish. Oh, sorry. Okay. We will just remove this console.log, and let me just change this here. Let's just give it as done. All right. Let's just give it under a timeout. All right, why not? Set timeout 5000, and just move this up, and there you go. Right, so that's how this particular code works. We wait for 5 seconds, and after 5 seconds you get the done function. You get the done string that's being displayed as a part of your h1. So So let's just run this and see what we get. We'll wait for 5 seconds and we get it done here. There you go. This is how it works. So I hope from this video you've got a good understanding of how element by id, get element by id, and get element by class name works, as well as how you can target specific attributes like the value in the inner.html methods and get values out of it and manipulate them as you wish. So this was just a basic video that was covering the whole gist of how you would manipulate the document. There are many more such methods which we can be covering in the future, but in case we don't cover, you can just go ahead to MDN docs and or W3 schools, anything you prefer, and just get your methods checked there. So there are a lot more methods here. Get elements by tag name and stuff. So we're just touching the surface here, since this is just a basic tutorial video. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching and see you later.